is everyday beauty? What kind of beauty comes into daily life? I think of a song called One Day Like This by a British band, Elbow. And in this song, one of the refrains is, "It's going to be a beautiful day." And later on, the singer sings, "One day like this a year would see me right." In other words, if I could have one beautiful day like this, that would nourish me for the whole year. I've had years where perhaps there were very few beautiful days, and I also know that it's possible to find beauty every day. And I'd like to take you through an ordinary day in my life as a way of looking at some of the ways that beauty can come into daily life. When I wake up in the morning, recently I found myself uttering the words, "I don't know." Nobody's asked me a question. I haven't even asked myself a question. It's a practice for clearing my mind of preconceptions, assumptions, mental junk, and opening myself to whatever the day might bring. Becoming like a blank page for what the day, life, God wants to write on me. I mentioned in another video the idea of kenosis, the concept of kenosis, emptying the self so as to be filled with God. And not everybody watching this video will be religious. To be filled with life, to be filled with experience, joy, peace, love, all the good things. If I'm fortunate enough to have a friend or family member staying with me, then perhaps the next thing I might do is offer a hug, hear how their night was, to listen to them. I remember a character in a film saying, "Listening is love," and I feel that when we're really, really heard, when we're really listened to, that is a beautiful experience. Some people are lucky enough to have a partner. I don't currently, but if one has a partner, obviously one can offer that listening presence, total presence, to be with them, to connect with them, is a beautiful way to start the day if you are lucky enough to be in that position. Then the next thing I have is my ritual. I light some incense and I waft it over my cross and my icons. I kiss my icons. I then read the Bible for a while. I then read a book of theology. Currently I'm reading Saint Silouan by Saint Sophrony. And reading in itself, I'm talking about right now religious reading, but any kind of reading for me is immersion in another world, the world of the writer's mind, the world of a book is a beautiful experience, another type of beauty that we can incorporate into every day. And then once the morning ritual is taken care of, then there is an opportunity to work. And for me, to work is to create, to work is to give, and to give of myself, to give of my whole self in service. And in terms of creativity, creativity feels like play. Playing with ideas, playing with images. For me, I create this channel, I create art, I create poetry. So every day I like to create something. Even if it isn't a product as such, it could be a creative conversation with a friend, creative interaction with life. And after working for a time, I like to move. And in my case, I like to lift weights, I like to dance, I like to walk. And if I'm exercising outdoors, I have an opportunity to connect with the beauty of nature, which is an incredibly nourishing thing that we can do every day. There was a year in my life where every single day I went for a walk at lunchtime, whatever the weather was, whether it was sunny, raining, snowing. At that point I had quite a full beard and I had a white hat and I had white clothes, and when it was snowing I seemed to disappear and all you could probably see was my eyes in the snowy day. So to connect with the beauty of nature every day is a way to bring beauty into our daily life. And later in the day, hopefully there'll be an opportunity to connect with a family member and or a friend, and a close friend or a new friend. One of my newer friends has a daughter who has Down syndrome, and I mentioned this because the beauty of a beautiful heart, to connect with a beautiful heart. This little girl has such a beautiful, open heart, simple and really, really special. Everybody's heart is special, and she just came to my mind as someone who just has that pure presence. And so to connect with, yes, family, friend, close friends, new friends, a partner if you're lucky to have a partner, is a way of increasing the amount of beauty in your day, the amount of love, connection and beauty. And also one can connect with strangers as one goes about the world. There was a sort of parody country and western artist, perhaps he still is performing, called Hank Wangford, and one of his songs had the refrain, "There are no strangers, only friends we don't recognise." Recently I was travelling on the underground and I saw a beautiful baby in a pushchair, and I smiled at the baby and the baby smiled back at me, and then I noticed the baby's older brother, and I smiled at him and he smiled back at me. Then I smiled at the mother, and then I smiled at the father, and it was a beautiful wordless moment of connection, a moment of beauty with someone that I didn't know and I probably will never see again, millions of people in London. And so these are some of the ways that beauty can enter a person's day. I've shared some of my experiences. I'd love to hear about any of your experiences of daily beauty that you have on a regular basis. And of course at the end of the day it's time to sleep. Sleep is a beautiful thing, and if you're lucky enough to sleep well, I haven't always been, it's an incredibly nourishing way of, well, it's an essential part of life. It restores you, and then to end where I began, one can open the book of the next day with a sense of readiness to whatever the day will bring. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and you may feel like subscribing. I would love to hear read any of your comments underneath the video. And if you'd like to share, if you'd like to like the video, that's very helpful to grow the channel. And I look forward to continuing this journey into the sacred and the beautiful in arts, literature and daily life with you.